morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here. Obviously, we're visiting here with the head coach of the Flames football team, Hugh. Spring practice in progress. We'll take questions locally and virtually from the media. Coach, we'll just kind of start with an opening statement. If you want to give us an idea here, I guess now a couple weeks in, just how things are going.
Yes, I'm pleased. I think 6 practices in, the effort is unquestionably really, really good. And so, I mean, obviously a long way to go, and glad we're not in the season because we got a ton of injuries. But as far as the effort and the attitudes that we're getting from our players right now, I think it's we're 6 for 6 in that, and I asked them to give us 15 days of that, and I teach our class on Monday mornings, and this morning was really good about just one of the worst feelings I think anyone could have is to get to the end of your life and to have a bunch of would've, could've, should'ves and never fully invested yourself into something. And whether it's academics or their nutrition or their life or football, you can't be committed to everything. I think that's a bad practice also, but you can be committed to something. And right now I think we're seeing, I think their commitment level is pretty solid for our team. So I'm pleased. 6 practices in, again, still a lot of questions, but I love the effort.
All right, thank you, Coach. We'll take questions from the media in the media room at this time.
Hugh, you brought up the injuries. It looked like wide receiver got hit pretty hard. Do you have a timetable for like when CJ, Noah, CJ Dane?
DeMario.
Yeah.
Yeah, the receiver room is the worst off right now injury-wise. C.J. Daniels obviously towards ACL, and unfortunately he had to have surgery. So hopefully he'll be back around game 1. DeMario and Yarborough are both dealing with hamstrings, and those can be just don't want to set them back further. So we're taking our time with that. Noah just has a stomach virus this morning, so that's the only reason he was out. So that's that room. I believe that's everybody there.
And so Hugh Washington looked like he was at
Yeah, Hugh Washington. We had our first live period the Friday before spring break, and he broke his thumb, which required a surgery. So he's going to be limited for a while.
What have you seen out of your quarterbacks through the first 6 practices? And I know a lot of question marks there as you look for your next guy.
Yeah, very inconsistent. You see flashes of good things, and you just hope that those good things start increasing in consistency. I'm optimistic, cautiously, really about several of them. I think we've got a good room there with JB, Nate, Caden, and Charlie. I think all of those guys have potential to be good players. Malik was out there today and stood with me a lot during all the drills, and I was curious to see, and he kind of said the same thing. He's like, man, I don't know how you're going to make that decision. And I said, well, it usually plays itself out by the time you play 1 or 2 games, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
Charlie's a guy that, he's got a lot of experience under his belt playing at Baylor and Utah, but he's new, obviously, to your system in Liberty. How has he meshed in early parts of spring so far?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just verbiage. We run a similar system to what he did at Baylor, and, he understands the RPO game and the timing of those things. Obviously, it's all new on how he sets the protections here and the verbiage. So it's definitely a learning curve, but he's picking it up pretty fast. Threw some really good RPOs today.
How about Caden and Nate? How they transitioned into now, coming in their second year in the program?
Again, both are inconsistent at times, but both so flashes. I tell you, I'm really proud of Caden. I think he's just changed his approach, his attitude, his work ethic. He worked his tail off with our strength staff, getting prepared for spring ball, and texting me over spring break, asking me questions about the last practice, and that's it's good to see that. And Nate's really solid also, and again, I think all 4 have shown flashes that they could get the job done.
I didn't think there could be a coach that could have more energy than Bruce Johnson, but watching Chris Klonakis in practice, running back and forth between skill drills and, his attention to detail, and was that something you noticed when, wanting to bring him in, of how, that motor that he has of just working with that room?
Yeah, I've interviewed Coach Kanakis twice over my head coaching career, and the one thing that I knew both times is the guy was passionate and had great energy, and he's working the absolute. He's working our O-line extremely hard, and that's what we need. They have to be the front line, and they've got to be they have to lead the way, and I think he takes great pride and confidence that he builds in them. I think is going to be big, and he definitely is. He's been. I talked to Ian into giving him a raise last week, so I'm pleased with him.
You graduated a lot of snaps from that offensive line room. What have you noticed in terms of the guys who are competing for jobs there, in terms of like a Harrison Hayes who got sporadic snaps last year, Jonathan Graham who has been waiting his turn, those types of guys who are wanting to get more reps?
Yeah, pretty excited. Without Cooper, we kind of know what he can do. He had shoulder surgery, but Nasir's taken a step forward, I thought, today. Cam Reddy, really like. Of course, Brendan's played a lot of snaps for us, as has Bodden. Cordis, we've moved to guard. Excited about that. Reggie just got cleared to go today, so it was his first practice. Look forward to seeing that on tape. I think Chase Mitchell and Brian Hannibal have probably taken two of the bigger steps forward so far. Harrison, I think, is going to be a really good player, but pleased to this point. They're blocking what I think is a really good defensive line, and so it's going to make us better.
What was the decision to move Cordis to guard versus
he's one of the tougher kids we have and stronger kids that we have, but seemed to play a bit tentative and slow with the ball in his hand. And I'm just trying to find him a position where he can contribute because he cares. So I think taking the ball out of his hand hopefully will allow him to play a little faster.
So who would be the back? Like who would be at center?
Cam and Adair.
Okay.
Yep, Adair will cross train too, but I think Adair is going to be a really good center too.
How about Dre Butler? How has he transitioned into the school year?
Yeah, I mean, he shows flashes of being really, really talented. Don't think he's in the shape he needs to be in yet, but once he gets there, I think he's going to be a heck of a player.
You seem to have an embarrassment of riches there on the defensive line. Is with adding a guy like Butler, a second guy from Auburn, how deep can that line go from in terms of like 2, 3, maybe even 4 deep?
Yeah, I don't think you can have enough great D linemen. I mean, if your D line can control at least one phase of the game from an offensive standpoint, it makes offensive play calling extremely hard. I've been on that side of it, and it's not much fun when you just don't feel like you can stay balanced at all. And so, I said when I got here, I think y'all both were here then, and I said we're going to build this team around the defensive line. And just from the leagues that I've been in, I've just known if you can start it there and at quarterback, then you have a fighting chance. And so that's how we've tried to build it. And we're excited about the new guys we've brought in. We got to get Jay Hardy well and healthy, and Dre in shape. But man, the Henry Jabuzzi, he's leading. And, of course, those defensive ends we have are pretty special, and really, really, really excited about Bryce Dixon. He's a handful as a freshman. He's going to be a heck of a player.
Any others from the media in the room?
Nick, we're good.
Okay. I'll turn it over here online now to David Newton from ESPN. He's got a few questions here for you, Coach.
Appreciate it, Coach. We talked years ago when I was doing a story on Michael Orr when he was with the Panthers. So this was a little different. I'm just curious for you. You got a big day tomorrow with Pro Day. How how big can that be for this program to have the entire NFL basically there?
Yeah, I don't think we can quantify it really, and I don't know how I would in words, nor outside of words. I just know that, like you, it is huge. It's big. It's we believe in what's going on here. We believe in our administration. We believe in our people. We believe in our culture. We think the mountain is a special place to be on, and think that the future can be really, really bright. And obviously, for that to all happen, it takes everything I just mentioned, but it takes players. You've got to have players, and for the eyes of everyone that will watch, from the pro day to the interviews to the people that are coming here to represent ESPN or NFL Network, all the way through the draft, for their experience to be something to where they leave this place after tomorrow or Wednesday saying, man, that there's something, I sense something special going on there. I sense maybe a different culture than other places, and to add to that the representation that we get by people like Malik Willis, and I just think it's invaluable, that recognition.
Compare what I know the COVID impacted the last few years. Last year, I guess you were to have a little bit of a pro day. What last year was like compared to what this year is going to be like?
Yeah, I don't even remember a pro day from last year. I don't even know if we were able to have one then.
So 2019,
yep.
I guess.
Yeah, yes, we've had one pro day since I've been here, and it was not even. I don't remember it, so I don't. It's going to be quite different than. Even today we had spring practice 6 this morning, and it was. There was a lot of people in there. I don't know, but it's great to see all of our players come back. I took a picture with them this morning, man, and not just Malik, but all the other guys. Some of which I think are going to surprise some people and have a chance to get on rosters and do well. So that. I think it just speaks for the job that our recruiting office and our coaches have done to convince good players and kids to come and join us here. And, there's no question from the amount of text I've gotten to phone calls. I know that tomorrow will be, we had some good ones at Ole Miss. And, the one that was the craziest was the year we had the 3 first-rounders and plus many more that I'm not sure this one won't be as well attended as that one. So we're excited. We're excited to host. Everybody's pitched in. It's been, sometimes when you have these things, if everybody's not on the same page, it can be not quite the level that it should be. I don't think that would be the case here. We've had everybody from academics to our Flames clubs to our convo team to our administration with Ian and his staff. Everybody's just, what can we do? I had the city manager reach out to me. What can we do? So everybody's on. Everybody is on the same page. I hope that the NFL Network and ESPN will bring a bunch of people here, because I think we'll blow you away with our hospitality.
You mentioned the Ole Miss situation, and at those larger schools, pro days are kind of just an assumption. It's going to happen. You're going to have a lot of stars and a lot of NFL people there. Liberty, they're not used to that. It's like I've been told, usually a handful of coaches will come in, and sometimes you need to search around for enough people to even put on some of the drills. So what's the buzz around that, around town? Do people talk about it now?
Yeah, I think I don't get out on town much. I go to church, the golf course, and here. But I know from just my time at the golf course last week on spring break, it is being talked about. And then obviously for city managers and others to be, I think it's starting to spread, and certainly it's we've said since we've been here, we like to do things that are first, and this will be our first experience here at Liberty with a pro day that's quite like this, and I hope there's many, many more to come. And again, I think just from the scouts that have been here through the season and stuff, I think all have been really impressed with, wow, I didn't know y'all had X, Y, and Z, or these facilities, or this support, or this. And I can't wait for all the general managers, coaches, scouts that'll be here tomorrow to hopefully get the same feeling.
What's it for you and the staff to be able to tell a recruit, hey, we had 125, 30 people from NFL here for our pro day versus saying, hey, we had 5 or 6,
Yeah, Javon Hubbard is our NFL, liaison, and he's kept stats on every the number of coaches that have been here throughout the season. At our games, and certainly tomorrow will be a big, I'm sure you'll see a flyer or whatever they call those that they send out on social media. I'm sure you'll see one that says that so that our recruits can see it clearly. And more importantly than that to me is, taking young men that for whatever reason, and this is not I don't say this to say anything negative about anyone, because I think every situation is different. But, for us to take a couple kids here that maybe, didn't take any quality snaps at other places, and now they're first-round draft picks or second-round draft picks or, third-round draft picks or whatever it is, I mean, hopefully, that speaks to a lot of these kids, particularly in this transfer portal world that we're all in now, and that, the things that Liberty has done with helping to develop and help rewrite a story or stories for people, like a Story Jackson or a Malik Willis or, a Skylar Thomas or Deron Lowe or some of those that I think are going to get chances to really surprise people. Elijah James. I think that hopefully that whole piece of it, somehow we can tell it to where they're like, man, they and Malik's done better than, the interviews he has. He's such a humble kid, and he just says, look, I didn't even play any significant snaps, and I believed in the staff at Liberty could help me, change my story.
Yeah, I talked to him at the Combine, and very impressed with him. So how is he handling what's going to happen tomorrow and the tension's going to be on him?
Yeah, I have, there's a lot of kids, and I've coached some really good ones that I worried about, oh, God, the attention is it could hurt him if he's not careful. Malik's not one that I worry about that with. He really could care less if he gets attention. And, it's been that way since he's been with us for the 2 years, and he plays a game where he throws for 400 yards and counts for 6, 7 touchdowns, and it was everybody else that did everything right, and then play a game we don't play well and we lose, and it's all his fault, and that's the way he's approached it. And he just really, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I think I've coached a lot of great players. He might be the most truly humble great player that I've but that doesn't mean he's not confident. It's just, he just takes everything in stride. He prepares as hard as he can. He's committed to the process, and if that process brings to him a first-round draft pick and a starting position on an NFL team, great. If that commitment to the process brings to him a third-round draft pick and a backup quarterback, great. And then he'll be committed to that process. And I think when you take that approach and you just know that you've poured everything into something and your commitment to it has been what it should be, you can handle the results. And I don't think he's hung up on what people say about him, or I don't know. I admire him in a lot of ways, really.
Hey, you've had some top 10 picks in your career at Ole Miss, so some people say this quarterback class isn't strong, but some say that there may be a worthy franchise quarterback in this group. Is he a top 10 pick?
Yeah, if you're giving me a chance to sell you on him, I would point out just a few things. I don't watch much NFL, but I do watch the playoffs. I did not see a single team in the playoffs that could protect their quarterback. I didn't. Go watch the films, and I'm not saying the D lines are just so good, and you're not going to always be able to protect your quarterback. So the key to a lot of those games, when you watch the Buffaloes and Kansas Cities and Cincinnati's and those, is do you have somebody that can extend a play that allows you to stay on the field and convert drives? That's what I saw with my own eyes. And I just I don't know of another guy in the draft that has the ability to do that. And that doesn't mean they're not great players or great. I just don't know of another guy that's any more suited for that than Malik is. I think, again, you're getting a guy that whether he's the starter right away or whether he's the backup right away, he is okay with that, and he makes your locker room better. And, to me, in this draft, whether it's weak, strong, that's not for me to say. I'm just saying what I'm seeing now in the NFL, and I heard, one of the interviews that they did with me at the Senior Bowl. Well, we wonder how you can do under center and all that, and my response to them was, I didn't see anybody under center in the playoffs. So maybe, but even at that, he doesn't know what he doesn't know. I'm quite confident he can do it, but he doesn't know what he doesn't know. But I didn't see. Go look for yourself and look at the percentages of. I didn't see Josh Allen getting under center a whole lot, maybe 10% of the time or something like that, or Mahomes or any of those. So, I mean, if you can use me to sell Malik being the top now. I have no clue, David. You know this. I have no clue who is even taking a quarterback in the first. I can't keep up with it, with all the free agency, and I can't keep up with that. But if you're asking me who should be the first quarterback taken, I would take Malik Willis in a heartbeat.
I agree. And I was talking to your AD, and he was talking about what RG3 did for Baylor back 10 years ago, and he thinks that Malik's going to be able to do that for your program. So you mentioned all the other players are going to get a look just because Malik's there and those guys are there to look at him. So I agree. I think tomorrow's pretty big for you guys.
I do too. I've said that to everybody. I think we should hopefully do everything. I know we will. I don't have to. And the great thing is I don't have to go ask, beg, or everybody's. Hey, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? And our kids will perform well. They're going to test well because I believe, my strength coach has done this for me at Ole Miss, and they crushed all the testing. I think our kids will do that tomorrow. And then obviously the attention that will be on Malik and what happens with him. I think it's going to be a big day for us also.
I appreciate your time here, and I know you got a busy schedule, so thanks for giving me some time right here.
No, tell all your comrades at ESPN, come on down tomorrow.
I'll be down at about 4:30 this afternoon. So,
bring them all with you. Tell them to come on.